We had something to say in response to a video by Close of the Bar podcast where they talked about stimulus, unemployment, inflation, and prices going up. You know, the world came to a standstill when the first COVID-19 cases were reported more than a year ago. But fortunately, we're now in a position where businesses are preparing to reopen their doors, right? But to make this happen, they need both customers and they need employees. And look, it's absolutely true that there are not just a few, but actually many Americans who are in situations where they're earning more on unemployment with the federal boost that they are receiving than they were making while they were working. And, you know, the problem we should be most concerned with is that the unemployment they've received has been more than they made while they were working. Now, look at this should be of concern for our larger economy, not because people received money that they didn't work for, but the concern should be in the fact that Americans, they've had to receive money in amounts greater than they typically receive from their participation in the labor market in order for us to adequately stimulate our economy during this time. You know, speaking to concerns brought up in the video, they talked about inflation and hyperinflation. And both are like major problems, right? You don't want inflation and you don't want hyperinflation. But it has been noted by the Fed recently that any inflation that we see of the recession and the recovery, it's going to be temporary. And, you know, it's really great to know that the global market is one of the main forces that we have at work in our efforts to keep inflation under control. Speaking of the global market, it really takes us back to talks about the labor markets, right? Because quite honestly, what some are really looking to do is artificially hold down wages. And they want to do it against what the market has been demanding for some time now, which is increased wages. But here's the deal, right? Even with all of that considered, economies are still reeling. Economies are still shattered. So is now the time to take the minimum wage up to $15 an hour? No, absolutely not. But now is the time for businesses to plan, both in the immediate and the long-term future, to make providing service to them as an employee more attractive. As much as everyday Americans are not guaranteed a job and a wage, businesses aren't guaranteed free or low-cost labor. Americans, they can't be forced to take employment. They have to be enticed to take it. You know, we always talk about the sense of entitlement with Americans, but look, businesses need to lose the sense of entitlement. So as much as I can complain, what is the solution here? In order to come back stronger, companies, they have to reimagine their business model as they return to full speed. And this includes reimagining their workforce. Right now, right, the businesses that are in planning, the businesses that have been open for, just a little bit of time, they're recovering revenue, they're rebuilding their operations, they're rethinking their organization. And for a lot of them, that includes also accelerating the adoption of digital solutions. Now, some of these things, especially the later thing I just pointed out, the adoption of digital solutions, that's going to be at the expense of employees. And this is something that employees must plan to contend with, and they have to make a plan to overcome it, right? They have to find a way to create value that can't be replicated digitally. But on the flip side of that, businesses, as they rebuild their operations and they rethink their organizations, they should consider changing something on their side. Maybe they change the structure of their business to accommodate fewer employees. Maybe employees take on more tasks. Maybe they have to be now willing and ready to invest in talent that maybe has 70% of what they want and be willing to invest to take them to that 100% that they require. Businesses, they're in the business of finding solutions. And quite frankly, it's remarkable that they want to demand government to solve the problem now when they typically don't trust government to solve problems, which is why they go into business in the first place.